Hey YouTube, Sean, Leslie Over Dummies. Gonna run some rounds through my TMC today. Recap what I have done so far. So I've drilled the air chamber, I have shimmed the drive spring, I have lightened the valve spring, I've polished the internals. I have now installed my MCS lock bolt. I have a dynamic sports gear charge handle, aesthetics obviously. I will be shooting with the same bottle I originally tested with, so it's 750 psi approximately. 3.7 gram riot balls and the factory TMC barrel. I'll cut here and show you the Delrin bolt that I've also installed here, and I'll show you the Lapco barrel that I will be testing a little bit into this video.
All right, so here is a factory TMC bolt. It has an O-ring seal on the end, and then that's designed to swell up when you actually fire the marker, make a good seal. Lots of air goes down the barrel. And you can see it fits quite well into the breech. But this barrel is loose. It's a 0.69 bore, so that's about where it ends. This is the Delrin bolt. They're identical for the most part. The Delrin appears to be just a hair longer. May or may not make a difference. But the biggest thing is, wha-bam! There is no O-ring seal in there. You can see that O-ring seal there? So that is sliding on your power tube. There is a potential for air to escape backwards out of this as it's trying to propel your ball forward. This O-ring mitigates that problem. During a dry fit, what I have noticed is it does create a little bit of extra friction, which is to be expected, but that may affect my drive spring. So I may even have to step up the drive spring a little bit. We'll see. I also thought about adding a spring behind this, like the Tech T bolt. There is an aluminum version of this. So this is Delrin. I would assume this was maybe Delrin, but it's probably plastic. The aluminum version also has the O-ring seal. So I'm on the lookout for that because I believe the aluminum, that little bit of extra weight may create a little bit more inertia and help this marker fire better, at least fire faster. And here is the Lapco. I got a 684 10-inch. So it's 10 including the flash hider. So I take this guy off. Actual barrel length should be 9 inches, but it is ported. So it's more like 7 inches of control. We'll see how it does. We're gonna test with this one first, obviously, and then we'll add this one in. But just like the factory barrel, it does make a very good seal. Actually, take a picture. It appears the factory barrel makes a better seal earlier, but this bore is looser. At least Lapco says this is tighter. Same goes for this guy. So it fits about the same as a factory bolt, and they should be really, but that O-ring seal I think is gonna be important to help boost this marker, and obviously a tighter bore size.
All right, let's fire some rounds. Fire this guy up. I just have a Vulcan on off on here with a Wixon ring. I believe unmodified, just with the velocity max out of the box and this tank, I was shooting, I want to say, I think 300 feet per second with these 3.7 gram balls. So let's see, well, is there any improvement with after all these modifications? Very honored. There you go, 4. There you go, 6. There you go, 2. There you go, 8. Best one yet. There you go, 8. .306. Well, I think you guys see where I'm going with that. I think I need to run CO2 through it, and I will. But based on that, I mean, I gained, again, another 5 to 10 feet per second. As I spoke about in the little clip there, the Delrin bolt, I have a feeling that it may be causing extra drag. I did lubricate it before I installed it, and it was marginally better, but I think now it's slowing the hammer down probably too much. So still a work in progress, obviously, and honestly, I can tell by when I cock this marker that there is more room to shim this hammer spring, or I have actually ordered some aftermarket springs, well, overseas springs of various lengths that I will be testing to maximize the amount of room that's in there. So I spoke about it briefly in the other video. You can shim this up to the point when you cannot cock the marker. So when you pull this back, you want that bolt to catch the sear. If it doesn't, you've shimmed too much. You want just that right amount. So literally at your full reset, the sear catches, your bolt locks in place, and that is the maximum amount you'll be able to shim. So I'll bang the rest of these rounds off. I'll swap the barrel, and we'll see if the Lapco does any better. Lock bolt does do its job. You heard it there. Mag is empty. Let's just try that again. The only thing I find weird about this lock bolt is because of the way, it's just the way the marker functions. So it leaves your kind of charge handle dead. And you have to actually, and this is good that I actually have this aftermarket one now, because with the lock bolt, you're really right at the end. You hear it click there. Perfect. So it is doing its job. Let's swap the barrel. All right, Lapco 10-inch barrel installed. It's kind of, it is the look I was kind of looking for, so I picked the right length. How does it shoot? Ooh, 282. 286. 288. 290. 290. Power is down, which is to be expected, I guess. You saw the measurements. This has only got about 7 inches of unported area, whereas the factory barrel is just no porting. It's one long tube. I'm gonna fire these rounds off, and then I'm gonna take the barrel out. Well, actually, I'm gonna pull the hopper plug here. This barrel didn't feel like it set all the way in. Like when I screw this Tippmann barrel in, like I'm threading for a while to get it to seat. This Lapco, I wouldn't expect anything less than it to work like factory, but I maybe put 4 turns on it and it bottomed out. So maybe that's part of the problem. Does not make this marker any less fun.
All right, so I've pulled off my hopper plug there. It's a very strange phenomenon, guys. So that barrel is seated perfectly. But let me demonstrate what I'm talking about here. So hopefully we can catch this. So I'm gonna unscrew this Lapco. So we're gonna do 1, 2, 3. 3 turns. Before I screw the factory barrel in, I'll show you. Like, the Lapco has a little longer edge on it, which I'm gonna assume, well, no, it doesn't, that's just me. It has an O-ring. The threads appear to be the same thickness and depth and length and all that jazz. 3 turns though. Let's put this guy in. 1, 2, 3, 4. I guess, I don't know. Maybe I'm just crazy. It's definitely more turns. Oops. Well, the Lapco is seating properly, so I'll give it to him.
3.7 gram balls, load up again. And 12 gram CO2. I've reinstalled the factory barrel just to get an idea of what it is based on the last go through I had. $3.18. $8.24. $8.26. $8.18. $8.20. Seems like a lot of work for nothing, right? That could be debatable. I think some of these things, okay, the volume is increased in the air chamber. There's no doubt about that. The drill bit says so. The question is, why didn't it equate to more output? And I think the answer either lies in, well, either that bolt is causing excessive drag. That could be offset with a heavier drive spring. it could be a flow issue. You know, obviously the air has to travel down those 3 channels in the air valve. Could they be wider? Yes. Could we smooth the edges, I think, like Runa mentioned? Absolutely. The other thing is, it may be just the length of time. So the drive spring it extends the hammer strike to some extent. But an alternate method or combination would be, I may drill the hammer and tap maybe like a small set screw, like a 440 set screw, kind of make a tit on the end of the hammer, so it actually presses the pin deeper, which would make for a longer press. It's a project, let's just say that. Would I go out and spend all this money on it like I have? It's still fun. It's absolutely fun, and it's not dead yet. I have other stuff coming. I think I'm gonna swap back to the factory bolt just to see, because I feel like I should have seen something out of all of this, and it just didn't happen. And that bolt is the one thing kind of that I'm hung up on. And until my other drive springs come, that's all I got to work with. So I think I'll swap that out. We'll try again, and I will report back. Thanks for watching, guys.